Welcome to Call Night. I'm your host, Ty Ricciardi. Today joining us is Ms. King. Ms. King, how are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I know you grew up in Sandwich, and what was that like growing up in Sandwich?
Well, since I'm a third generation resident, my grandparents were here first, then my parents. They were class sweethearts, graduated from Wing in 1955. Then it was a little challenging with all my relatives here growing up, because whenever we would walk downtown or do something, someone, an aunt, an uncle, would see us, so we always had to be on our best behavior. I married my class sweetheart. We both graduated from Wing in 1975, and then my three children graduated from Sandwich High School in 2002, 2003, and 2005.
How was the Wing School when you went to the Wing School?
The Wing School, needless to say, if anyone here did any of their years there, is a great place to go to school. The teachers were great, but my graduating class only had 75 students, so everything was much smaller than the town of Sandwich was much smaller. It was an easy place to grow up in and very quiet.
What were some of your hobbies as a kid?
I was very lucky to have a grandmother that was very crafty. She taught me how to knit and crochet and sew. And I also enjoy reading, horseback riding. I had a horse growing up. And, always busy. I enjoyed keeping busy.
What was so cool about horseback riding? Like, why was it one of your hobbies?
Well, I have an older sister, a year older, and she loved horses, so of course I decided I liked horses and got a horse. But one day she decided to rear up on the Route 130 by the cemetery, if you're familiar with it. It's Main Street, and left me on the ground, and I passed out, and ambulance had to come. I had a girlfriend on the back with me, and she was fine, but after that I was a little cautious of horseback
Jeez.
riding.
That's pretty scary. What are some of your hobbies now?
Much the same. I enjoy crocheting and sewing and reading, and I also enjoy my three grandchildren that are close, and the other one that's a little bit farther away. Just got a puppy in middle of July, and I'm hoping to train her as a therapy dog.
What kind of dog is it?
Golden Retriever.
What's the name?
Her name is Bonnie, and she just turned 6 months old.
When did you start teaching? When did you become a teacher?
I guess you could say I started teaching in 1987, when I had three children at the time, ages 3, 2, and 6 months, and it was too hard taking them all to daycare, trying to pack up, get them there, pay for daycare. I barely made any money after paying, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to start my own daycare. So for 20 years I ran a daycare in Sandwich and enjoyed having some of your teachers' kids. If anyone, I'm sure, knows Mr. Pearsall, both of his kids came to my daycare. If you remember Mrs. D'Amato from previous years, she retired. Miss Tompkins, both of her boys, and I just loved it. I loved being with kids. I was blessed with a lot of patience, and so for 20 years I was a teacher to other children, and just over 100 kids I had in those 20 years. And the last 5 years I received a grant through Cape Cod Community College and began my teaching interests there. I initially got my infant and toddler license and then I went on to get my preschool license and then my pre-K license through Cape Cod Community, and then I went on and did the cohort program with Leslie College and got my bachelor's degree in teaching, and then went on and got my master's through Leslie, and that was in 2009.
Do you like did you like teaching younger kids better than older kids, like high schoolers?
I love teaching younger kids and love being with my grandchildren, but as I did my internship at the Wing School, I realized there's a lot of need for the older kids too, and with a lot of patience and time and just letting them know I'm there for them. It's very, very rewarding to work here. I love it.
When did you start to teach in Sandwich?
I started my internship in Sandwich in 2007 and worked at Wing, but there weren't a lot of job openings and there were cutbacks, so I was laid off. I started working at various preschools, Sandwich Village Preschool. I worked in Barnstable, and after a few years I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to Wing, and then wound up being here at the high school to see what opportunities they were, and I was hired as an ESP in 2018. And middle of COVID, it was very challenging, but during that time I realized, you know what, I'd like to be a teacher at the high school, so I got my degree in special ed, and I've been a special ed teacher here since 2020.
All right, we got a lightning round. I'm gonna ask you like 5 questions, and you just gotta say which one you like better. Night or day?
Day.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Pizza or burger?
Pizza.
Favorite day of the week?
Oh, it has to be Saturday.
And what's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Why is that your favorite holiday?
Because we get a week off and I can spend time with my grandchildren.
All right, well, thank you for joining us on Call Tonight. I'm your host, Tyra Charity. Thank you all for watching.